and welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We are reaching you from the commercial city of Aba in Abia State, Nigeria. First, the headlines. NLC insists on 250,000 naira minimum wage, faults President TINUBU'S Democracy Day comment. Chief of Defense Staff accuses Finland of shielding Simon Ekpa, calls for his arrest. Police dismiss officer for killing Aba businessman. Thanks for joining us on the news at this time. My name is Esther Chima. Now the news in details. In a solemn moment of national reassurance, President Bola Tinubu told Nigerians that while he continued to reform the economy, he would always listen to them and would never turn his back on the people. In a national broadcast to mark this year's Democracy Day and the 25th year of uninterrupted democratic rule in the country, the president recalled how he and other like minds risked their lives for democracy to birth. He said despite complications, democracy remained the best form of government, assuring that the issue of new minimum wage for Nigerian workers would be resolved soon. The president disclosed that his government is already preparing an executive bill on the matter to be forwarded to the National Assembly for passage. Meanwhile, organized labor is rejecting President Bola Tinubu's claims that an agreement had been reached on new national minimum wage in his nationwide broadcast to mark Democracy Day. In a statement by Nigerian Labour Congress acting president, Prince Adewale Adeyinju, Labour noted that anything to the contrary is not only doctored but won't be accepted by Labour. According to Labour, as at the time negotiations ended on June 7, there was no agreement reached by the tripartite committee on the national minimum wage, but rather two figures such as 250,000 naira from organized labor and 62,000 naira from government and organized private sector were arrived at and ought to have been submitted to the president. In a related development, federal government is admonishing organized labor to consider the broader economic implications of its push for an unrealistic higher national minimum wage. This is according to the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at the opening of the 2024 Synod of the Charismatic Bishops Conference of Nigeria in Abuja. The Information Minister emphasized the imperative of a realistic wage system that safeguards against mass retrenchment while addressing workers' needs. He also hinted that the 250,000 naira minimum wage demanded by Labour could undermine the economy, lead to mass retrenchment of workers, and jeopardize the welfare of Nigerians. President Bola Tinubu slipped and fell over at Eagle Square, Abuja, during the celebration of Democracy Day in Abuja. He missed a step while climbing the vehicle for a parade at Eagle Square in Abuja during an event for the 2024 Democracy Day. But he quickly regained his balance and continued with the activities for the day. Speaking about this incident, President Tinubu joked about the incident and said that he had only paid homage to democracy in the Yoruba style. President Tinubu also used the dinner event to call for the unity of Nigeria, irrespective of tribe, religion, or political affiliations. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the 2023 presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, have sympathized with President Bola Tinubu following his slip at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Peter Obi, in a series of posts on his X handle, said the incident was nothing to gloat about. Obi also asked Nigerians to remember their common human frailty and stay focused on the issues that will lead to a new Nigeria. Obi berated those mocking the president over the incident, adding that such could happen to anyone. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, also in a post on his X handle, sympathized with President Bola Tinubu over the unfortunate incident and hoped that all was well with him. Eminent Nigerians have stressed the urgent need to create a new constitution to accommodate the country's diversity. Former Secretary General of Commonwealth, Emeka Anyoko, former military administrator of Imo State, General Ike Nwachukwu retired, former Vice President of the World Bank, Dr. Obiageli Ezekwesili, and Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi were among the eminent citizens that spoke at a colloquium on June 12 in Lagos. Anyoko, who was chairman of the event, noted that Nigeria advocated a new legitimate federalist constitution for Nigeria that would truly reflect and accommodate her diversity. In her remarks, Dr. Ezekwesili said Nigeria is still struggling to have a democracy, stressing that the journey to have a democracy is premised on the rule of law, but Nigeria does not have that. Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, is explaining why democracy seems to be in recession in Nigeria, despite being seen as the best form of government around the world. The clergy spoke at the Platform Nigeria, a program by Lagos-based church, to mark the 2024 Democracy Day on Wednesday. He said that unlike Europe, where principles of democracy were founded on the thinking of several philosophers, Nigeria's democracy was not founded on the country's historical, cultural, and anthropological experiences. Kuka said because of Nigerians' obsession with politics, they can't seem to think beyond a particular period. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa is accusing Finland of shielding Simon Ekpa, a self-proclaimed Prime Minister of indigenous people of Biafra. Musa, in a monitored television program, decried the activities of IPOB in the southeast, demanding the arrest and prosecution of Ekpa. He called on the Nigerian government to take decisive action, including exploring diplomatic options to curb the menace of the factional leader of the IPOB. General Musa also said Nigerian military is dealing with deep-rooted ideology and it cannot be overcome until the nation comes together to overcome insecurity. Abia State Police Command says it has dismissed Corporal Obagi Njok for his involvement in the shooting and killing of a businessman, Emmanuel Okocha, in Aba. The command said investigation into the criminal aspect of Njok's conduct has been concluded and that he has been handed over for prosecution. Corporal Njok shot and killed Okocha about 2 months ago at a police checkpoint on Aba-Owerri Road without provocation. A release by the command's Police Public Relations Officer, Maureen Chinaka, said disciplinary actions have been concluded by the command. The matter has been handed over to the Office of the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Abia State, for prosecution. The debate over the creation of a new state in southeastern Nigeria has ignited fresh controversy. The Isiochi community in Umunochi local government area of Abia State has rejected the proposed Olu state and instead advocates for the establishment of a Titi state. A statement issued by the Isiochi Development Union, signed by President General Ochiaboto Oji and Secretary Victor Nnamzuoke, outlines their position. They acknowledge the need for an additional state in the southeast to achieve regional parity, but oppose the bill currently before the House of Representatives. Enyimba TV News recalls the bill proposing the creation of Olu State is currently under consideration by the House of Representatives. You're still watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign, business and sports updates. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Now the news continues. Malawi government says Vice President Salus Chilima will be honored with a state funeral after he died in a plane crash along with 8 other people. President Lazarus Chakwara had already announced 21 days of national mourning for the wreckage of the small military plane carrying Chilima, and a former First Lady was discovered in a mountainous area in the country's north. Flags will fly at half-staff across the Southern African nation during the period of mourning. Chekwara has appointed a ministerial committee to oversee preparations for Chidima's state funeral. No date was announced. Chekwara previously said that there were 10 people on the plane, but the government now says that a total of 9 were on board when it crashed. Everyone was killed on impact when the twin propeller aircraft went down in a hilly, forested area in bad weather. And now from the business scene, traditional buyers of Nigerian crude are going for cheaper options, leading to the emergence of France as the country's leading customer. Top crude grades of Africa's biggest oil producer, Bonny Light, Facados and Brass have a reputation for being light in sulfur, a quality that has made them the darling of refineries in Europe and Asia. But the country's traditional big buyers from India to China are increasing their purchase of U.S. crude, Russia crude, and Latin American oil because they see the Nigerian grade as relatively pricey, with traders reluctant to offload the country's cargoes. The development poses a risk to Nigeria, which relies on oil exports for more than half of its total foreign exchange earnings. Data gathered by Enyimba TV News showed India purchased 1.3 trillion naira of Nigeria's crude in the first quarter of 2024, a decline from an average of 2 trillion naira purchased between 2018 and 2021. And now sports. Enyimba International's coach Yemi Olaruwaju is explaining why his team failed to secure maximum points against Bayelsa United. Bayelsa United held Enyimba to a 1-1 draw during match day 36 of the league in Aba. Coach Olaruwaju attributed the draw to the psychological impact of a recent league decision which awarded maximum points and goals to Rangers. Last week, Enyimba fans invaded the pitch in Enugu after the referee awarded a late penalty to Rangers. As a result, the league decided to award Rangers 3 goals and 3 points, a decision that significantly affected Enyimba's players. Enyimba's focus now shifts to their upcoming matches, where they aim to regain their form and secure their position in the league. With that sports story, we wrap up this edition of the news on Enyimba TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. Organized labor is rejecting President Bola Tinubu's claims that an agreement had been reached on new national minimum wage in his nationwide broadcast to mark Democracy Day. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa is accusing Finland of shielding Simon Ekpa, a self-proclaimed Prime Minister of Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB. Abia State Police Command says it has dismissed Corporal Obagi Njok for his involvement in the shooting and killing of a businessman, Emmanuel Okocha, in Aba. Now that's our package of the news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. On behalf of the production crew, my name is Esther Chima, appreciating you for watching.